damage and loss are the people of South St. James, yeah, over which Melissa passed on her way across the western part of Jamaica last Tuesday. The Member of Parliament for the area is Nickiesha Burchell. Good morning, Miss Burchell. Good morning, Miss Burchell.
Morning, Mr. Hughes. How are you? Can you hear me?
I'm all right, but how are your people in South St. James?
Boy, I'm so sorry. I got a little thrown off just now because while I was holding, I came on this morning because I wanted to talk about what's really happening in South. The families who are cut off, the people who haven't eaten in days, and just the need to get some urgent coordination to get help to us.
Yes.
But while I was holding to come on, I heard you saying something about mostly PNP, the online line, and I wasn't clear on what was being said. And since I also am a member of the PNP, I'm not sure what that.
Well, let's leave that until we discuss what we really want to talk with you about, and then we can discuss that. Yes. But tell me, how are the people of South St. James? What is it that they desperately need now?
Right. In South St. James, we were directly affected by Hurricane Melissa because there was a direct path over South St. James. So all of South St. James, no part of it was spared. Not the edge, not the outer band. The eye went directly across South St. James. As a result, based on my estimation, where I've been able to go, about 70% of our housing stock, or farms and our small businesses, I would say, based on just my untrained eyes, have been lost or partially lost. Our roads are blocked off. We have about 5 different ways of getting into St. James. It is 52% of the parish of St. James, South St. James is, and we have about 5 different routes. Only one route we've been able to successfully clear, and by clear I mean we have one tiny, narrow, single lane going from Long Hill to Burchell that can take you to Cambridge and as far as you can go before you're blocked off, or on the other end can take you to Maroontown, Upper Springfield and up to Maroontown Garlands and as far as you can go heading towards St. Elizabeth. Or other areas have been blocked off. What happens is that mostly community members with their machetes, their saws, whatever they could find, have led the clearing effort because in South we're cut off not just by Melissa but by the relief efforts that are not coming in to us the way we need to get them there. So St. James is not one of the sexy constituencies, Mr. Hughes. It's deep rural, and by deep rural I mean we only have one ATM in the whole constituency.
Yeah.
We don't have a bank, we don't have huge supermarkets, so we don't get the headlines.
Yeah.
That's why I'm trying my best to capture for the rest of Jamaica and the world what's happening. We have marooned communities still that we can only access by helicopter and stuff. We have confirmed 5 deaths so far in South St. James, and our biggest cry right now is for food to get to most of our communities. Our shelters that were set up by the government, by the disaster management team, they got no food ahead of the storm. We were told that the people should go there first and after the storm food would get to them. But as you know, the roads were cut off, so no food got to them after the fact. And I've been driving around as far as I can and getting food to most of them. But by the time I reach the second place, the first place, food supply run out.
Yes.
From our 2
So tell me, Miss Burchell, in terms of the roads, you say how accessible are those areas now, given that the roads are cut off? You did say in earlier that only one major roadway is now accessible. Is that so?
Yeah. We got, so right now if you need to get into South St. James, you have to go from West Central St. James via Long Hill and go through Anchovy to Roehampton, up through Mafuta, and then it forks. You make a right to go to Cambridge through Mount Horeb, Plum Fern, and you can go as far as up to Catadupa, but I'm using the community names because they will understand, right? Using maize land to get there. You cannot go to Retrieve, which is the better road because of huge landslides, right? That's a major thoroughfare between Eastern Westmoreland and St. James Southern, and that has cut off people. So there's the narrow way that we've been able to create through maize land takes you to Catadupa now, and that is only open like a day or two ago.
So tell me, Miss Burchell, so if the relief agencies have the supplies, what is the route in? What's the best way to get the relief in?
That's the route, but don't send big trucks. Use small pickups like vans, because we still have light poles that still, hang from one side of the road to the other. So the height clearance is not great at many of these routes. But if you send a pickup or like the JDF ratches, or as they call them, then you can, and cars and stuff, then you can get the food and the relief in.
What about
use helicopters?
Yes, helicopters seem to me, based on what you have described, as your best bet, because those vehicles can only take so much and no more.
And no more, right. And then the traffic is horrible. So a helicopter would be good to land in Garland, in Catadupa, in Cambridge, in Retrieve. That could give us some key areas that we can distribute from.
Yes.
We urgently need...
Repeat those areas for us, so the authorities who may be listening. The helicopters, the best points to land to provide mass amounts of relief, food and whatever, would be where?
Catadupa Primary.
Yes.
We clear the playing field, so helicopters can land there. You can also land in Garland, at Garland Primary School. We've cleared that as well for that purpose. You can also land in Maroon Town at the community center in Maroon Town.
Yes.
And it's somewhere on the other side. And in Anchovy now, we need something at maybe at the resource at Anchovy High School. At Anchovy High School.
Yeah, they could find place to land there.
Yes. Yes.
And in terms of the immediate needs, you did mention food. What about water?
Water is of critical importance, and I just want to say thanks to CPJ and SEPROD. They said that they have some water that we can tap into in Montego Bay, which I'm trying to arrange myself to receive. We have not yet gotten that. But we urgently need food. We need baby formula, diaper for kids and for adults, because we have a number of adults who need diaper. We need petrol, as in gasoline, power or generators. That few we have across the constituency, and the Starlinks that are helping to provide communication to people and their families. We need zinc nails, because we're trying to put the pieces together the best way so people can come out of the rain.
Yes.
So we need zinc nails, we need zinc, and we need plyboard. We need any form of lighting you can give us, like flashlights and batteries. We need any solar lamps and lanterns, because we're in pitch darkness. We have no electricity, no internet, no running water.
You know, I spoke earlier with Marissa Dalrymple, the MP for South Trelawney, and she also said that was her immediate number one need, solar lights, because the people need to get out of the pitch blackness.
It's darkness. And people are hurting themselves in the darkness because it's, people we need some tetanus shots. We need some help, because people stepping on rusty nails everywhere. So people bandaged up and having the damage, and it's just that they just have nowhere to sleep in the night because you're looking at the sky and stuff. So I think what is also, I know it's not, we're having with the water, the mosquitoes are breeding already in these water collection, where water is collected in whatever old thing, or we're covering communities like in Spring Bottom. We need to urgently spray those and get rid of the dead carcasses that are floating in these waters before they breed further diseases and make us worse off. So we need some health services to come in and kind of direct stuff. And with respect to our agriculture, given that we're an agriculture constituency, we need there are some pests that come from the downed banana plantain trees, usually that can wipe out the crop even for 2 or more cycles because it gets into the soil. If they don't contain it, spray these things now, then we're killing off the agriculture for another couple cycles. So we need to get RADA and those agricultural JAS, etc., to come in and help to encourage farmers to clean up the fields, burn what needs to be burned quickly before the pests set in on the agriculture.
Yeah.
We are ground zero. I know we have multiple ground zeros operating right now in Western Jamaica, and I empathize and sympathize with everybody else in all the other parishes. So, but I'm feeling on behalf of St. James because we are cut off and we need help.
And that's your job. You are their chief spokesperson and representative. Tell me, Nickiesha Burchell, for those of us who are not familiar with the political geography of the country, South St. James borders which other constituencies in Western Jamaica? For example, in Westmoreland, what are the bordering constituencies?
All right, so we border everybody because we're 52% of the parish. So we border, let's start here. We border Trelawney, at North Trelawney, up at a place called Liberty that gets into Shaw Castle in South St. James. We also border St. Elizabeth at 2 points. We border St. Elizabeth at Elders, that's coming from Magoti, wrong end.
That's northwest St. Elizabeth.
Northwest St. Elizabeth, right. So we border them there. We border St. Elizabeth again in the hills, same northwest, but at Pisgah, up in the hills, Ginger Hill there, into Stonehenge in my constituency. Then we border Westmoreland, that's in Reeve. Border Hanover at Russell, leading into Montpelier. And Hanover, we border West Central St. James, where Long Hill meets Anchovies. We border East Central St. James, where Spring Mount leads into Springfield, and that is usually the main route we take from Montego Bay, from up in the hills. So you would have seen the Duns River Falls we have now for our main road there. That won't come back. That won't come back for a couple of years.
Oh dear.
So we have a serious challenge.
So it's tough for the people of South St. James and Western Jamaica. And the word for the authorities, accessibility, is best done via the air for the people of South St. James, helicopter.
Or small units, or not big trucks just yet. We need smaller units. Yesterday, the Rotary Club, and I want to thank them, tried to in and they couldn't pass. So we had to send smaller vehicles from the community to package the stuff and take it or distribute it. So don't come in a coaster bus, don't come in a huge panel van, and stuff like that.
You're a new MP you're in the class of 2025. What a baptism?
Fire.
No, water. Water, not fire.
And wind, and it's quite the treadmill that I've started this term on. But what a better, I don't know. It's like my family is personally affected. I was only able to reach my mother and my father 2 days ago because we were making our way up trying to clear the route with those who would volunteer to get up there. So when I talk about South St. James and what's happening there, it's not something I've read about, it's something I'm living myself, because this is home. And so I want to be their voice, I'm their voice. And I want to just appeal to the authorities So let us coordinate. What's happening is that those who are at the front of the line, they're going to continue getting aid upon aid upon aid. And those at the back of the line, which is where South St. James is, will get nothing. And we feed the parish, we're the agriculture. We are the ones who sell in the Charles Garden Market. We're the ones who work in the stores and supermarkets and hotels in Montego Bay. When you cut us off, we're cutting off St. James. So I'm asking you to prioritize rural recovery and relief, and St. James South could be a good place to start.
Are your parents okay?
Yeah, they're fine. They had to hold their doors and windows and fight. They locked their church. The church was blown down, and but they've survived the worst of it.
Okay. Thank you so much, and all the best, Nickiesha Burchell, the Member of Parliament for South St. James. They need help and need it fast. This is Cliff Hughes Online.
My hands were steady, my eyes were clear and bright. My walk had purpose.